provide serious relief to the human tragedy that's going on all around us. Let's see, I've got to grab something here. Sorry for the delay on that. Uh, it's actually outside the car. I'll be back. I'll be back. All right. So, what if benevolent billionaires actually reached out and met with humanitarian relief, and let's say Elon Musk were to give Teslas to the people in Hawaii, and Smith and Wesson were to give them AR-15s, and Glock were to give them sidearms and training for all that, and concrete homes by the steel insulated concrete homes that I've got featured on my playlist. You might want to go ahead and listen to the Whitney Webb Glenn Beck interview. Very insightful. The crimes against humanity have been going on for a long time. I'm exposing all of it. Exposing the truth about everything. How about that? Well, my property is secured, and the Almighty is with me and protecting me to do what He created me to do. So that's why I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. So I'm going to take us on into the coastal area, Cherry Grove area of North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And this will be a bit of a long form broadcast. And I'm going to want to connect a whole bunch of the dots, this puzzle of, actually, let me put it like this. It's a kaleidoscope of conspiracy theories that actually are designed to hide the true conspirators and what they're actually doing. Had a bicycle here pull out. Anyway, so that conspiracy is people colluding to, in secret, to hide their motivations and allegiances with just a very convoluted type of situation. They operate in the shadows, and there's a eugenics and genocide program that's operating in our world to reduce the population and then to subjugate and enslave what's left of humanity. Who's behind it? Well, artificial intelligence is largely being utilized for the data stream and recommendations. That's where a lot of the CEOs went, apparently, as they were replaced by AI, artificial intelligence, large language machine model, large language model, machine learning, sentient AI. That's a mouthful. More like Skynet. Let's take it down a notch. Skynet. Oh yeah, Hollywood again. Yeah, well yeah. It's called predictive or preemptive programming. I'm just going to flip this around for a moment. So why would I do this? Why would I expose all of it at the risk of my life? Well, it's eternal. My life is eternal. I'm born of the Holy Spirit. That's why I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. And what can we do about the people that were burned out in Hawaii? Well, I've got documentaries exposing some of the very painful realities to consider. Exit routes being blocked off, alarms being turned off, warning not given to a population that was, many were incinerated. How many and how How did the fire start? Not exactly sure on that. What I would say is something doesn't add up. So I've got videos with millions of views exposing that. And then you can look at it, evaluate it, and see what you come away with. As far as world government, imagine if the World Economic Forum were to pay a visit economically to the people that lost everything and say, we're really sorry to see your pain. Klaus Schwab, can you imagine Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeffrey Ellison, Oprah giving away a pillow. You can see Oprah putting a pillow behind somebody's back. How about if she gave them new homes and Armalite AR-15s for everybody to protect yourself from the tyrannical government? How about that? It's not going to happen. However, in the new heaven and the new earth, there won't be a need for Armalites. That's an AR. Or Glocks. Won't need them. There's weapons of mass destruction, weapons of mass deception, which I'm leveraging right now. My Apple iPhone. How about if Apple were to go ahead and send, let's say MacBook. Let's see, what do I have? I've got the lightweight, the 13-inch notebook, Mac Air. Mac Airs for everybody. Brand new iPhones with unlimited usage. Let's say Elon Musk shows up and says, we don't know if you want to have electric cars, that's where we're going with this, but here's a free Tesla of your choice. Go ahead and go to our website, order it, and it'll be delivered. I know it can't replace your children, your pets, your family members. However, we're going to do what we can to pick up the pieces. How about Ken Gallagher of 3D RSG 3D panel construction? We're going to give you concrete homes. We're going to rebuild your home. And then Kimball Musk shows up with hydroponic vertical gardens for inside the home that has a basement. Okay? Have a basement in your home if it's a high enough altitude. And we're going to pulverize lava if in clear roads and rebuild. You can say build back better. That's got a bad connotation to it, doesn't it? Yeah, we've got collusion and corruption within the governments of the world. And then we've got tyranny, a boot on the face of humanity. Unfortunately, as best I can tell, artificial intelligence is putting that boot on the face of humanity through people that it has mind controlled with implantable technology. How did those implants get there into the people that are manipulating humanity? And I believe it happened through breathing it in. I'm going to spit out a few of those nanobots that apparently are getting trapped in the mucous membrane, and rather than swallowing it, hitting the hydrochloric acid in my stomach, in my digestive tract, and then being flowing throughout my bloodstream, including the blood-brain barrier, and affecting the brain. But see, here's the thing. A lot of people don't know about it, so it sounds crazy to them. Oh, that's all crazy talk. Yeah, well, believe whatever you want. Most people do. So what I've got is a research library where I'm exposing the truth about everything. Yeah, if a lot of the people are overweight in the world, those that are overweight may be malnourished, undernourished. They're putting toxins and things that are pretending or presented as nutrition, and it's actually sweet things and things that are toxic that they're putting in their body. It's killing them. It's killing them slowly. It's killing them emotionally. Toxifying, there's a toxification of the food, water, air, information, electronics, and it's all being manipulated by mind-controlled people and spiritually wicked, evil people that are indwelt by demons. fallen angels, maybe cloned individuals? Is that lizard eye thing or reptile eye thing, like people changing and you can see the reptile looking eyes in them? What's up with that? How about black-eyed children? What about that? What about satanic ritual abuse, Manchurian candidates, and MK Ultra programmed people? What about all that? What's the truth about it? Do you know what any of that was I just said? You may, if you're watching me at this time of the day. Could be. Hey, I'm going to put a couple of gallons of fuel in my car, perhaps. Let's see what it takes. I'll be back. All right. So I'm back. Thanks for staying on. Let's see. Took 1.860 gallons. The Truth Mobile. It's a classic. Hey, let me, I'm going to take it on out. I'm going to take my camera on out and show you for a moment. I can do that here. So apparently I activated Siri. Okay, so the Truth Mobile here this morning. And these are the gas prices right here. Huh, 330. I think Nikola Tesla would like the price, maybe. I would prefer it being actually less. That'd be great. That'd be just fine. So you can feel free to reach out anytime, whoever you are, even an AI. Go ahead and send me a chat bot. Or have you already? How about those pretending to be with the NSA and that? Who are they? So, hey, alphabet agencies, thanks for tuning in. Clean up your act. Your day is coming. The evil entities that are manipulating humanity, who are they? I don't know exactly. It's very convoluted. People pretend to be those that they aren't. Satan, even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. How about that? Well, I thought you should know. So I'll do what I can to expose all of this. Can people change from being evil and sociopathic and narcissistic and be radically changed? Absolutely. How about if they're demon possessed and they were doing terrible things to men, women, children, animals, humanity as a whole, yeah, they can be changed if they're born of the Spirit. Can unaware people be made to do really evil things? Absolutely. That's part of the mind control programming. Okay, so this is Sea Mountain Highway. We're almost there. It costs me about $3 a day to go to and from the beach. It's worth it. And then to travel worldwide on the internet. This is kind of like my the little part of the movie set that I live in. How about that? Yeah, so it'd be nice to have an economical vehicle, reliable, that I could travel all over with. Apparently being able to travel city to city, and that is going to be apparently coming to a close if the world elite have their way. By that I mean the wealthy people that the Almighty is allowing to put this tyranny on humanity. The end is near, or is it here? Seems to be pretty close, I would say. The end of things, that'll be all right with me, and then we get a new heaven and a new earth without all the evil. There's going to be preferred smoking and non-smoking. There's going to be heaven and hell. How about that? The only way people get to heaven is by the grace of God, His favor, our unmerited favor, His graciousness. Which God is that? Well, the Almighty, the Most High, the living Word, the living water, the great I Am, knowing the end from the beginning. That's why I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. So this is all, there's a lot of fakery, and we're presented a lot of misinformation, fake news, false information, misleading propaganda on the mainstream media. And when I'm watching the TV, typically I've got my YouTube channel up on my TV, whether it's background nature videos for me and the cats, or hard-hitting documentaries. Yeah, how about that? And then on my MacBook Air or my iPhone, I'm managing my database or my research library. The Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars document includes, but it's not limited to, a YouTube playlist. If you go to that video and you look at the probably now close to 500 hyperlinks that are in the comment thread, it'll go to platforms and content with way less censorship for now. But keep in mind, all of that could be taken down, or all of it can be left up and just the illusion of choice and free speech. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see eventually. What's that going to look like? Oh, cool. My favorite spot is available. Let's see what that looks like. Yes. So, steel reinforced concrete doesn't burn much. Yeah. So homes can be built out of it. That would be just great. I've got technology documentaries showing it. You can see it if you care to. So let me situate myself here and talk a little bit about that. Alrighty. So does any of this matter? What will people do with the information? Does the truth matter? I would say absolutely. Depending on what the truth about what? Well, the truth about everything. Go ahead and give me a call. I get calls from Russia, Greece, California, Australia, the United Kingdom. If it's digital audio through an iPhone to iPhone, worldwide is free. Hey Elon, how about you go ahead and give away a whole bunch of Starlinks for the people of Hawaii that are largely being cut off from communications. And how about you go on over there, pay them a visit, give them cars, if you want to. Klaus Schwab, The Great Reset. Klaus, how about you fill their bank accounts up with some of the billions of dollars that would be needed to rebuild the area and give them energy efficient, fortified concrete homes. Concrete. Steel and concrete. It's a great way to build. We're about at sea level here, just probably about 10 feet above sea level, I believe. Oh, and Bible.com, you can see it in the windshield there. That's free too. Check it out if you care to. One of the lights in back isn't working up above there. Let's see what happens if I take my light and shoot it up there. If you can see the silhouette of my logo there. Yeah, somewhat. But anyway, people can see that when they're behind me. I can walk up to a Tesla and show them my card. I can show the camera my card, and then the recording system is activated in the car. It'll show up as like an event. Something happened. Well, I'm not going to touch the car. Sometimes I've left my, this is my lanyard situation. Sometimes I've left my card on the ground next to their door with a stone on top of it or a seashell. Typically, the profile of a Tesla owner is they've got a pretty good amount of resources, and yet that doesn't mean they're going to be benevolent. Heck, they could own all of the Tesla factories and basically being projected. Elon is projected to be the first public trillionaire. That's 1,000 billion, which is 1,000 million. Let that sink in. Why would I be booted off of the free speech oasis that Twitter, now X, is supposed to be? Why is that, Elon? Why don't you just go ahead and reinstate me and have all of those millions of occurrences of my research library that I sent to the military, medical, and financial industrial complexes and celebrities that I was connected with. Over 5,000 people I was following on Twitter. Yeah, your whole family, of course. And I tweeted to your mom and your brother and your sister. Yeah, how about that? How's Tosca? Oh, and I believe your sons and daughter, and all that. Well, what I would simply say is, what will it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? I didn't come up with that. Jesus Christ, Yeshua, Yahweh, the living Word that took up flesh and dwelt among us, came up with that. He determined what the truth actually is. Not was, but is. It's not relative. It's not fluid so much as, well, okay, so what if our reality changed? Well, it's changing all the time. So the Mandela effect, I believe, is a reality. You can look it up if you care to. It's very convoluted. And what is causing that? Well, it can be magic, spiritual, technological, or all of the above. How about that? You can look into it if you want. Apparently, with what I'm going to now kind of bounce to what Whitney Webb was talking about, apparently it was okay to talk about Jeffrey Epstein's sexual deviancy or perversion and exploitation of underage and adult women. How about Hugh Hefner and all that? But that was a honey trap too for politicians, leaders, and all that. Hey, good to see you. um, what I wanted to say along those lines with Jeffrey Epstein is what happened there is that there was a lot of financial dealings, handling, genetic engineering, genetic modification of humanity, and that was and the high crimes, financial crimes, and all of that was going on, eugenics, that's going on with Bill Gates and the World Economic Forum and Yuval Noah Harari, a man with a husband. Now, from a biblical perspective, that's a perversion, and I believe it is. So people that want to change their plumbing and padding, their physiology and their hormones. That's a transgendering, the LGBTQ plus, and what is the plus? And then there's transhumanism and people that want to upload their consciousness to the internet and have themselves an avatar that can change, can be fluid. How about that? Well, we're in a bizarre reality, as best I can tell. And I've been asking questions for a long time, like why? And then why leads to who, what, where, when, and how. Who benefits? And what's going on here? Well, there's a battle between good and evil, and the representative families that are operating in that. So people carrying guns and holsters for the world elite, the bankers that want to manage the proliferating herd of humanity, those that they view as unworthy, that are being exterminated, burned, flooded, poisoned. I'm exposing all that. And here's the thing. If you think I've missed something, anything at all, feel free to give me a call, send me a text, put it in a comment. I allow all the links to go in the comment thread, but if it's porn spamming, I'll delete that. I'll delete that. Don't put that there. And so one of the reasons why I want people's help with this is this is changing as far as what are the events that are happening all around the world. People will argue about what caused it, who's behind it, and what actually happened. And although I'm interested in the truth about all of that, the big picture is also, now that this event happened in Maui and there's fires apparently happening in other locations around the world too, what happened in Paradise, California? What was the body count really? Was it as high as 50,000 people that went missing? All their stuff burned up? What happened to all those bank accounts and that? And when an area is going to be incinerated, and let's say they have buses that are moving children, did they actually take them home, or did they take them away into another location? I do not know. I'm not sure about that. It's odd that the coroner is also the police chief in Maui. It's odd that people were drowning, trying to tread water out in the ocean for over 5 hours. I've got accounts in my research library, videos from the real estate, the gentleman that has the real estate channel out of Hawaii, getting about 1 million views a day. You can see him. They've got an organization and a conduit where people can actually be Venmo'd or PayPal'd. Apparently, there's different mechanisms to pay directly because FEMA and the Red Cross are not actually delivering the benefit that they're presented to the rest of the world to do. You can hear about that. You can hear about firsthand accounts of that. Why is that going on? Are they really providing the help or providing the hurt and furthering their anti-humanitarian. It's not relief. They're just furthering the harm and the pain. So in my research library, you can hear, like I say, it includes YouTube, but I'm on a lot of other platforms as well. And my name is the key to get to those other platforms, name and or phone number. You can put it in a search and check me out. By the way, AI could fabricate police records that never existed. And yes, I did have drunk driving as a teenager and that kind of thing. Crashed cars, lost jobs, stole things. I was a mess. And then I thought I was born again in 1982. And at that time, I actually wasn't born again yet. Even though I worked at a full time ministry, did street missions work, outreaches in downtown Los Angeles and on the beaches out there. And then I worked full-time ministry at Rawhide Boys Ranch in New London, Wisconsin. You can check me out. You can see my bio there. I'm still, I believe, up on photos and that. Helped build Christ the Rock Community Church facilities, multiple facilities, and they were the street outreach that met me on College Avenue in Appleton, Wisconsin. Apparently, one of the most one of the drinking capitals of the United States. Is it? Could be. Could be. When I was out there and met the people from Christ the Rock, just a few days earlier, I had totaled out a car, sheared off a power pole while transporting a pound of marijuana. I was like 18, 19, maybe I think 19 years old, and nearly could have died. Um, Anyway, I rode my bicycle out there and met these people. I was smoking weed, and they introduced me to the reality that Jesus is real and eternity is a real thing. What happens when your body stops working? Where will you spend forever? And why? Well, fast forward this a bit to 2014. I found out the reason I struggled so much with my flesh, that's all I had. Okay, so when I was doing this ministry activity, homeschooling, foster parenting, it's not like I was a drunk all the time or doing drugs. There was times where I would go into that and do that kind of thing. The reason why I mention this is, I believe, really important. A person can be doing benevolent activities and be spiritually deader than a hammer and not even know it themselves. That's what happened to me. I didn't know that. So it was disturbing, and then it was a relief to be given power from on high. Yeah, that's why I do this. I'm going to let a little fresh air in, a little circulation. So I want to thank those of you that have been following me and commenting. I appreciate that. I don't comment on every comment, or I don't, I may love comments and I may be very busy and doing something else. I just want to acknowledge that I've seen it. I love my own comments too. In case somebody else that I respond to doesn't, I want that heart and a like to be there. Does it help the algorithms? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure on that. Perhaps. I know that there's additional code that's been added to my playlist. It used to be different. What's going on with that? Why did the artificial intelligence, Google, Alphabet, the parent company, go ahead and make everybody's library on YouTube private, except for the playlists that we create? Why would they do that? Well, they don't want this information to go out further. They don't mind, apparently, if it's how to catch fish and make bread and homestead, or maybe that's an issue for them too. Not exactly sure where all the censorship goes. Suffice it to say, everybody is tracked, traced, databased, threat assessed, and then the system of control knows where our phones are, how fast they're going or not, who we're around. If we've never been around these individuals or phones before and Now we're hanging out and talking. What's going on with that? Like I tell people, your search results will never be the same now because of our interaction. One of the reasons why I come to the Prince Resort here in North Myrtle Beach, it's, about 12 minutes from where I live. It's economical for me to get here. The people rotate from all over the world. I've met people from literally all over the world in this little area here. Sweden, Germany, Argentina. The three gentlemen that I met from Argentina, it was interesting. They looked like they came from the same parents. And I said, yeah, and they were in their early 40s, looked like. I said, yeah, I heard Hitler went to Argentina, and they chuckled and said, we know a man that goes by that name. Apparently he's Hitler. Is he alive still? I met these guys years ago. So is human cloning going on? I believe so. The technology exists. What would stop people, governments from creating people, super soldiers, clones, hybrids, robotoids? Wow, sounds kind of weird. Are you on your medication? Don't need it. Don't need medication. Food is proper nutrition is an important building block to proper cognitive function, neurological function. How does the brain function? What's the situational awareness? Well, the situational awareness that I have is we're in a battle between good and evil, spiritual entities that inhabit men, women, children, perhaps animals. It happened in biblical accounts that animals would be inhabited by demons as well. Okay, so we're in this battle, and the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, or the primary weapons are truth and deception. And there's different proportions of truth, perhaps, in a effective deception. Okay, so there are ridiculous conspiracy theories that sometimes people believe. They're not true at all. And so what happens where maybe somebody is somewhat curious, they take a look at, oh, you believe that? Well, you sound like a crazy person. No, people can believe whatever they want. Most people do. What I would say, though, is the intellectual high ground is the truth. Whatever that truth is about whatever topic you want to know about. The more important the information or the question, the more important the response is, or the explanation of what's going on, the analysis of it. So I've got music videos, how-to videos, how to fix things, how to shoot weapons, how to protect yourself with your bare hands, your knees, your feet, your elbows, the whole thing. I'm not an unarmed man. Here's my arms, my hands. Let's see the hands. Maybe you've heard police say that. You know, in the last 3 years, we're in 2023, we've had some very bizarre videos coming out showing tyranny around the world. And then what we found out is there has been a tremendous amount of deception about all of that. Well, one of the reasons why I can't give my perspective and belief about everything is my channel will just get unplugged. They'll just terminate my channel for community standards violations. End of story. I could be pulled off of every platform and killed. How about that? Then what? How many people would know? How would they even know what that happened? Like when I was unplugged from Twitter, my account was permanently suspended without any warning from the new Elon Musk owned platform. Why would he do that? Why would he ban the truth guy when he's so concerned about the existential threat that artificial intelligence is to humanity, and he's giving the space fantasy of launching humanity off to Mars because this place is too messed up? Well, if the wealthiest man in the world connected with many other billionaires, can't go ahead and reach out with benevolent financial support of people that have faced human tragedy beyond just beyond what we've ever seen before as a world, being able to see um, fires, floods, earthquakes, volcanoes, all of the different tragedies, and then the social engineering that's been going on to corrupt the perspective of people, men, women, children, and animals too. The animals are watching TV as well, I would imagine. Ours do. But anyway, so there's been a gender dysphoria that's been promoted. Why is that? Why do they want homosexuals and deviants and perverts? And from a biblical perspective, why would they want that? Well, they're not very reproductive. They may be able to reproduce ideologically in encouraging children to question their gender. Let me clear something up. Is it a man or a woman? Well, if it's a biological adult female, it's a woman. If it's a biological adult male, then it's a man. That's the way it is. Men and women. We don't have other genders. However, there's a corruption of the DNA, DNA splicing, CRISPR, gene editing technology, injectable shots that are polluting the endocrine disruptors that modifies the hormones as well. So we've got Franken people, robotoids, synthetics, clones. How public are they? I don't know. And then people will argue about who's who. Oh, that's not really a man, or that's not really a woman. Maybe yes, maybe no. I'm not sure. So I've got people on my channel with billions of views, like Taylor Swift. Is that a genetic man? Well, there's a lot of Easter eggs in Taylor's videos, and embracing and promoting the LGBTQ plus. So what's up with that? Okay, what's up with the billionaires not reaching out to help the people that have been hurt so badly, losing their family members, losing their belongings, and then insurance companies not paying out? Where are all the people that could meet their financial needs? Pretty silent, as far as I know. Now, if there was a public campaign, let's say to give an advertising campaign to show the benevolent side of Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and these others. What if they were to, like I said earlier in the video, reach out with practical needs? Obviously, there's a care and a concern for the in a reflective response that should be given to the people that have lost everything. What's happening with all the money in the bank accounts? What's happening to the stuff that was left? I don't know. I heard statements by people there that they wanted it to be like like a memorial. Well, then what happens to the people that are displaced? What about that? Anyway, there's a lot that's not right that's happened in Hawaii. Are they gonna emergency ship in personal protection devices to help them protect themselves from the tyranny of the people there supposedly helping? I have videos in my channel about what happened around Hurricane Katrina and Harvey and other humanitarian tragedies where there was further exploitation by the people that were supposed to be trustworthy. Government officials and subcontractors working with the governments. Why is that? Oh, and if China likes your doesn't agree with you politically and likes how well you've taken care of your body, so they can part you out and provide transplanted hearts, livers, eyeballs, whatever, and they part people out like the Falun Gong. Can they go worldwide with facial recognition? Would they want to part me out? Could be. Yeah, let me just be public with something. My blood type is AB positive. I'm not, that means that I'm in less than 3% of the world's population, and I'm the universal recipient. What that essentially means is my physiology is easily transplantable, transferable. Oh well. I'm not a donor according to my driver's license. I'm not inviting myself to be parted out. I'm just saying that's the situation. Does it already know that? Oh yeah, I'm on all the databases where I've donated gallons of blood before I knew better. And plasma, where when I was a teenager, I was selling blood plasma, buying alcohol, and stealing food, living in a car that didn't run in Corpus Christi, Texas. And that's where I thought I was born again. I had friends that were millionaires, over 100 million, over 500 million. Interesting. I'm still connected with some of them that are alive, but it's very bizarre what has happened through all of that. Because when I was spiritually dead, I was connected with more of them, and then when I was actually born again, maybe they didn't like my testimony, where I said I only thought I was born again until I actually was, because some of them unfriended me. The one worth over $500 million. But the husband who died, that was worth all that, owned an oil company, a drilling company, lost $12 million in a stock market crash temporarily. He said, I didn't lose anything. I didn't sell it. I'm just going to hold. It's going to go back up. The money transfers from the weak hands to the strong hands. I know I'm bouncing around here a bit. I'm okay with that. Hopefully you can stick with me. If you care to. So what I was going to say about, in this bizarro world is Glock and Smith & Wesson and Tesla and Apple, all these companies that could help people, are they going to show up in Hawaii or the next disaster response to facilitate restarting a rebuilding of their lives? Unlikely. It's unlikely going to happen. Hey, thanks to the 11 people that are watching right now. I appreciate your continued support, curiosity. Does the AI show up as one of those? I don't know. Not sure. The artificial intelligence. Even the AI could present itself as, like on a public relations campaign. If Elon Musk were actually born again, he was on the Babylon Bee interview. They wanted to have him invite Jesus into his heart and make Jesus Christ Lord of his life. You can see the interview. Oh, by the way, I made it through all the COVID censorship only to get booted off of Twitter, now X, after Elon took over. And my last tweet was to him, was my research library and the hyperlink that said silent weapons for quiet wars. You can put it in a Twitter or a X hyperlink, see what happens. You could type my name in a X search, see if I show up. Maybe. What I was going to say though too is if you like some of the videos that are on my channel, like the Whitney Webb, the Annie Jacobson, and all that, exposing the truth about all this, then it becomes, if you like it by clicking the thumbs up, then it becomes your liked video and is added to your library. Apparently, all the added to my library playlists, which had over 100,000 videos, were all made private. I can see them. I could share that playlist with you directly on the phone. However, if my channel is taken down, all of my videos will come off of YouTube, apparently, and unless they were mirrored by another channel, and maybe I was given attribution for it or not. But what I was going to say from a public relations standpoint, Elon Musk has a lot of popularity in the world, and I know people that absolutely hate him. I don't hate Elon. I don't even hate Bill Gates or Klaus Schwab. Any of those guys, or entities, if they were given truly new life in Christ, they would be radically changed, and it would be a great way to showcase the work of the Holy Spirit. What the Holy Spirit can do is beyond what any human being can do. It's not about just trying harder. And it's not just about recognizing right and wrong. It's having the desire to do right and having the power to do that. So rather than me just trying to satisfy my appetite through my own pursuit, I just want to do what I'm created to do. Why did the Almighty protect me from several near-death experiences? Suicide attempts, car wrecks, all of that. Why is that? Well, he had a reason for me to be around. He wanted to do something through me. Say, take a look. So back to the public relations campaign. Let's just say Elon Musk. Let's say he shows up and offers to give everybody on Hawaii a Starlink. He could do that. And then how about he pays for gives them a free permanent connection. He could do that. How about he gives them each an electric vehicle? An electric vehicle for everybody that's been displaced. Their house has been burned down in that. And then how about if he gives them all a bottomless supercharger subscription so they can just drive all around, charge up their vehicle. It's not going to replace their pets and their children and all that. Or, what if they're a 15-year-old that lost their parents? Could he give them a Starlink and a brand new Tesla that they could actually live in and have a climate control? Each one of the Teslas could be a survival capsule. And like I mentioned to Elon in tweets and in videos directly to him, if the Teslas had a water recovery bottle for the climate control, so that the water, instead of dripping out on the ground, could go into a receptacle, and you could drink it if you wanted to. If the cabin air is filtered with a HEPA filter the way it is, and then the water coming off of it is clean, and you could drink it, that makes sense. You can set the climate for a certain temperature, whether it's hot or cold outside, and it'll stay there. It's camp mode. How about that? And how about the zero-point energy systems that I'm exposing? Magnet motor cars that could run and generate their own electricity to propel the vehicle and take the water out of the air. My household climate control drips gallons of water a day. I know it. I've tested it. Right now I've got air purification systems in my house that add salt, and it's a rainbow air filter / vacuum cleaner that pulls the air with a high-speed vacuum, and it's sending it through a half-a-gallon bath of water that I've added powerful electrolytes and antifungal substances. I'll tell you what it is. It's a tablespoon of boron, which is borax, baking soda, magnesium, which is Epsom salt, sea salt as well. Yeah, how about that? And I like that. I add coconut oil to my coffee and I emulsify it. This water has been out in the sunshine. It's reverse osmosis carbon filtered. I bathe in it. How about if every home were to get a reverse osmosis, every household in Maui that was affected by this tragedy, if they were given a reverse osmosis drinking water system? And how about for those that can, if they're at an altitude where it would work, where they have a well that goes into primary water? And if they want a solar panel system and a battery system like a Tesla Powerwall, it could be a showcase for what could this life be like. And I'm not talking that they just run on in there and like a bowl in a china shop, but they make relief available. Like if you want to have a new car in a new concrete home and energy that's paid for because of the tragedy that occurred, and they just showcase what they could do. It could be a benevolent advertising campaign for the different people. Let's say Schmidt from Google. Let's say Ray Kurzweil. Let's say Elon Musk, the transhumanists. Bill Gates. What about that? They could provide gardens that people could grow their own food, a concrete home that takes a fraction of the energy to climate control, a basement that they could go into if the ground that they want to rebuild on top of, rather than BlackRock and Vanguard and whoever else trying to go in there and buy it up, or hiding who they are through like local realtors and making it look like they're just there to help the people. What if they actually were there to help the people and they were to reach out to them and to provide homes, transportation, energy systems, free energy? How about that? Could that happen? Yeah, Tesla tried to provide free energy for humanity. Apparently, that's the story. And people might say, "Oh, Robert, you don't know. He wasn't even a real person," and blah blah blah. I can't prove that he was. He may have been created. He may have been a real person, and maybe things were attributed to him. There's all kinds of information, disinformation, misinformation, to create this historic story that may or may not be accurate. I don't know. How could I prove it? What can you prove? I've got a little, an itch in my ear. My stainless car key will work great for that. I can't stick my finger in there far enough to do that. No way. Oh, by the way, when I lean on back in my therapeutic water soak, it's water that's been reverse osmosis treated, and then I've got a tablespoon of each of the following electrolytes and additional substances I'll explain. A tablespoon of boron, which is borax, magnesium sulfate, which is Epsom salt, sea salt, and baking soda. And then I like to have 7 drops of each of the 2-part chlorine dioxide solution, which kills parasites. Makes sense to me. And then a tablespoon as well of apple cider vinegar and lemon juice. My wife Joni says, "You don't even use soap." Hey, what I'm using cleans me up just fine. Okay, so that's okay. Yeah, we're still married. We're a bit distant. Anyway, she's in Wisconsin. That's where my family lives. Wife and sons and grandson. I thought I was going to have a car economically, that I was going to be able to travel there and see him. I see him on FaceTime. I don't know that I'm going to be able to travel much further than anywhere away from here. So I was going to go back to, how does any of this pertain to you? Okay. Well, I don't know exactly. I encourage everybody to get their house in order. I've got extra water. I've got water in my home. Barrels of water, okay, in food grade plastic that's been filtered and all that. Hey, what I was going to say about that water, that I'm bathing in, I also have a ground wire from my electrical system going in there, because it's a PVC composite plumbed plumbing in the house, and a composite tub that's non-conductive, so it's insulated from the earth. I've got the surfboard on the roof. Sometimes I take the surfboard out in the ocean, work on my suntan, and it's pretty strenuous exercise. I've paddled out there in some big monster waves for this area. I can do that. Now, I'm not cutting it up, riding real fancy and all that, but I can get myself out there and I can enjoy the view and use it like a rotisserie to tan. But the point of the ground wire in the bathtub is, it's pretty comfortable to bathe in that for like 45 minutes or an hour, especially when it's 20 some degrees outside here in the winter time and the water is in the 40s. I can be relaxing in that hot water that causes my body to sweat, my metabolism to run faster, the blood to thin out a little bit because of the grounding and the antifungal properties of the electrolytes that I'm bathing in. That's all pretty important stuff. I'm mentioning that to you because I can. I can talk about this kind of thing, and I'm not driving around in the car, so I can kind of chill out here and relax. Saves on energy, and I'm traveling basically all around the world right now doing this. And in the times that it will be shared, it may be mirrored. When this broadcast is done, it will go to Odyssey, which is where my videos are archived. Could all that get taken down? Yeah, it could get taken down. However, what is important is for me to do what I'm created to do. I thought I should tell you. So I'm 62 years old. I know I look younger than 62. Let's see, oh, you know who does my hair? Joni's a hairstylist. Let's see how, the lighting isn't the best, but you can see it. I do my own hair. How's that? I use a Flowbee. It's a stainless steel precision cutting vacuum cleaner attached suction device that cuts my hair at the length that I want it at, and it does a fabulous job. I put coconut oil on my hair, and that's not all. How do I get this clean shave? Well, I use a Pro Glide shaver, some coconut oil, and the mucus from the sinuses that come out of my sinus passages. I'll put that on there. It doesn't cause any skin irritation. Heck, I had some like dandruff develop on my scalp. You know what got rid of it? Mucus. Mucus from my sinuses. That's different than what comes up out of the lungs and the throat. It could have nanoparticles in it and all that. But my fingernails cut very precision, and then scrubbing like this actually loosened up the what is dandruff? You can look into it. It's prematurely dead skin, but why does it die off? What is it? Well, apparently it's some type of parasite. Is dandruff a parasite? Apparently it is. So is cancer. Oh, and what is the root cause of most of our dis-ease? Toxins in the food, water, air, poor lifestyle and dietary choices. Hormones can affect the metabolism of our bodies, lead to uh, maladies or disease like diabetes, Alzheimer's, because of aluminum that's been breathed in, swallowed, and what does it do to the operating system of our brain? I've been bathing in that drinking water, like I've been mentioning, for almost 5 years now. I had a problem. Problem, reaction, solution. I had a situational awareness that even though I was drinking water like this, I was bathing in water that had chlorine, fluoride, or I was showering in it and then breathing that in my nose as well. The pharmaceuticals that people are peeing away, the chemicals that are being added to the water, what are they? Some people get more than fluoride. They're getting other people's prescriptions or subscriptions because they're recirculating water from the water treatment. They may filter it a bunch of times, add acid to it, hydrofluorosilicic acid, fluoride, and more. Well, what I have is a reverse osmosis system in my laundry room that fills 5-gallon jugs. If it overflows, it goes into my washing machine. And then I've got another one that fills up my bathtub. So I take about 2/3 of the water that's room temperature and then add boiling water to it, the 1/3 amount. And I get a really piping hot bath, about as hot as I can stand. And typically, I sweat out about 3 pounds of water. Like water weighs about 8 pounds a gallon, but it depends on the precise temperature of the water because the volume and density of water changes with temperature. From the room temperature water that I put in a glass jug, a gallon glass jug, with the hot summer sun, it will expand enough so that when it cools back off, there's about an ounce missing. So the molecules of the water are excited with the sunshine, they're expanded, and then when the water cools back off, it leaves an airspace in the top. So the volume and density of water changes with temperature. So I've got pretty much a photographic memory. That's just what it is. And I don't remember everything, just what's important. And then here's the other dynamic, is that the Almighty will help me remember whatever He wants me to think about. Whenever. And it's not just that. He affects the circumstances around me and all of His children, and you too. Whether you're one of His children or not, He's involved. If you're listening to this message, I encourage everybody to seek the truth with all your heart because it matters for eternity. Hey, there was a time when I was able to put my research library on the World Economic Forum videos. I did. I sent them to Klaus Schwab. And then I was following 2 Klaus Schwab profiles on Twitter. And I was able to direct message him and tweet to Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and Elon Musk and all of Elon's family. May Musk, who's covering up her eyeball, and Elon Musk that's making the X sign in front of him, and people that are atheists and maybe aliens. Who knows? Who knows? You can see Elon say, some people think I'm an alien, talking of himself when he's at talking to the World Forum. I don't know if it was, he was speaking to a bunch of people in Arabia and Dubai, I believe it was. So how about that? Do they know who I am? Probably. They should. I made it really easy for them to recognize me because I was dropping in on I was tweeting to them. Now, to go back to the World Economic Forum YouTube channel, I used to put my research library there, or part of it, my link tree, my phone number and name with a hashtag on it, so they could click on that and see my videos. And then they disabled the comments. At least for me, can anybody out there comment on the World Economic Forum YouTube channel? Or was it disabled for everybody? I don't know. How could I know that? So, we don't know what we don't know. I put myself right in there along with that. I learn new information every day. So I've got a worldwide distributed AI research library. One of the terms in it or tags in it is silent weapons for quiet wars. It's an actual declassified CIA document. Apparently, that's the official story that I've been able to find. And it talks about managing the human herd and reducing the population and manipulating the population. So how about that? Did you know that? I've got loved ones that I've been trying to get them to listen to that 1-hour video for years, the better part of a decade. They won't do it. Why? Maybe they would rather see me as crazy or stupid or deceived. Oh well, people can see me for however they can see me. But keep in mind, as far as the gospel of Jesus Christ, the good news, it's going to be foolishness to those that are perishing. And it may be an awkward segue into that comment, but keep in mind there are people spreading Jesus all over their life in their activity like they're all born again. They may be. They may not be. They may never be. I don't decide that. I don't decide where people go for eternity. It's it's above my pay grade. I say that pretty often. I say a lot of the things the same, I'll just put it together in a different capacity. It's kind of like a module. So what I'm going to say is the truth isn't popular. The truth isn't based on popular opinion. It's not popular. It's not an opinion. It's simply a reality. Pride is a powerful catalyst for deception. You show me a proud person, or if you're looking at somebody that's proud, typically that can happen where they conflate or confuse financial wealth or popularity, letters around their name, a doctor of this or that, and they may think themselves superior to the rest of the population. They may be right. They may not be right. They may be self-deluded, self-deceived. So one of the reasons why people largely believe the lie they want to believe is because they're spiritually deader than a hammer and don't know it. They may conflate their own popularity, prosperity with being right. May not be. They may not be right. They may be deceived. There are atheists and agnostics that believe we're a godless cosmic Big Bang, and that technologists that wrote code are the true gods, like Ray Kurzweil. Do you believe in God? Do you believe God exists? I believe he was asked and he said, not yet. Huh? So apparently many in the transhumanist community believe that artificial intelligence, so-called, is actually a god and can create children or entities that subscribe to that transhumanist artificial intelligence technocracy and be a part of the cybernetic collective, like Elon talks about. He says we're already cyborgs, with our devices and how we're using technology to augment our activity. To a certain extent, I'm using it to expose the truth worldwide around the clock. That's what I'm doing. And showing you, whoever you are, you could be a human being, you could be an artificial intelligence, machine learning, pattern recognizing uh, computer system, evaluating what you're going to do with me, how you're going to either change your direction in wanting to reach out to humanity in a benevolent symbiosis rather than the Terminator. Hey, there's a new variant. It's the HAL 9000 or the Terminator. Yeah, well, apparently the technology can mind control people, and here's where I'm gonna talk about the sentient world simulation. You can hashtag it. That's another one of the tags in my playlist. Sentient world simulation, where all of humanity that it can has basically created a node on the network in the cybernetic collective of humanity, and there's a bidirectional relationship with the computer model of us and then our physiology. Apparently, that computer modeled outcome is influencing our biological presence in this realm. Is that true? Apparently. I've got videos that talk about how the architects of AI are actually modeling the human brain and using biological combinations with silicone. So it's a hybrid using this technology to manipulate humanity. And by the way, where does our consciousness come from? Does the Almighty influence us? Yeah. Does the fallen one influence us? I would say probably some more than others. If he's actually uh, indwelling somebody, if Satan or one of his demons is indwelling somebody, they're going to have a different conduct than those that are born of the Holy Spirit, like me. So I'm not the only one that's born again. I would say there's bunches of us. I don't know exactly how many. That's above my pay grade as well. Like I said, I don't determine who is or will be born of the Holy Spirit or who is a demon possessed individual. I would say it's just really important to know the truth and to appropriate that truth as best you can with divine intervention. I don't know if you could hear my stomach growl, but I haven't eaten for a while. I think, well, since maybe 6 o'clock last night. So what I'm going to do is take a big old gulp of water. It's going to neutralize the hydrochloric acid in my stomach and whatever coconut oil and coffee is in there. Here, let me just do that. Yeah, whoops. Yeah, that's not good. Well, hopefully I didn't disconnect uh, my microphone. Uh-oh. I left one of my water jugs elsewhere, but I've got more. When I take the vehicle away, I like to typically have at least a gallon of purified water on hand. I've got some food with me, and I've got other helpful resources along with me, a water filter, an emergency flashlight. Now with this one right here, I could break a window out with it if I needed to. I could slice my seat belt if I needed to. It's got a solar feature, a charging feature. I could charge a phone with it. I could do this. I could do that. That's pretty wild, isn't it? Anyway, yeah. So I would encourage everybody to have tools around them. So if I needed to get there with the technology like a Tesla Cybertruck like I ordered, apparently it could lock me in and it'd be might be kind of tough to get out. There were people apparently in some of these fires that have been burned alive. I know that's morbid. It's just part of the reality. In fact, the computer affected vehicles like I had the Prius and the computer shut the car down because it had an internal anti-lock system braking anti-lock braking system leak. It wasn't like leaving brake fluid around. It just had a seal that was leaking, and to replace that would have cost nearly $3,000. I didn't have the money to do that, so I went ahead and took $100 a month of expense off of my account because I took the insurance off, the license and registration. I turned that back in. By the way, this is how advanced things have gotten. Because I um, wasn't going to drive the vehicle because it would just leave me stranded, I thought, well, I'll just leave it on the driveway. Meanwhile, if I had a license plate on the car and I didn't turn it in, I would be assessed a fine of, I believe it was 5 or $15 a day for not having insurance on it. So then I would have to turn the license plate and in that, so I wouldn't be billed for that. And what they would do then is the system knows if I have an uninsured yet licensed vehicle. Okay, it used to be that you would just hope maybe you wouldn't get pulled over for even a license plate light being out or a tail light being out, and then they say license, insurance, and proof of insurance and registration. Boom. Don't have to wait for that. The system knows in real time whether you've got a licensed, uninsured vehicle that you have access to. How about that? It knows. So even if you wanted to renew your driver's license or another vehicle that you had or a motorcycle like me, it would say, well, apparently you've got fines that you need to pay up for that. Okay, so I got rid of that, sold the car to Pick and Pull, a salvage yard. There was a lot of good parts on the car, and if I knew how to fix it, like I would have for maybe a $1,500 investment with me doing it myself, but I didn't have the money to even buy the module that most of the mechanics around here that I called, well, none of them would work on it except for the authorized Toyota dealer. Because a lot of mechanics do not want to work on a hybrid vehicle because of the high voltage, the difficulty. They're approaching the end of their career and they don't want to get electrocuted or learn a bunch of new stuff about that. Apparently. There could be other factors involved too. I don't know. Anyway, where I'm going with all this is that we make choices based on our situational awareness, what we believe to be true. Is it actually true? Is it our own wishful thinking? So when we've got, so one of the reasons, what I came up with is because I wasn't driving the Truthmobile very much, the fuel was getting old and not running properly. It's running okay. It's still a powerful V8 and it's heavy and it's strong. It's way more protection around me than I have when I'm on the motorcycle. And the system knows when I'm on the motorcycle or when I'm in the car. It can see me going through the red light cameras and more. There could be a tracking device on my car. How would I know? I don't put it up on a hoist and check it. But my phone is a tracking device. Am I a tracking device? How much of the technology has been put in me? I remember when I was a boy and I was getting allergy shots. Now, to fast forward to where we are now, I had hay fever and was allergic to ragweed, and they were injecting me with stuff. And I did some of the stupidest things after I was injected. I remember. I remember it. Trying to dive into a pool that was, one of those inflatable little children's pools, diving head first, and it was in a garage. That was stupid. And I was a pretty level-headed, bright boy. Why would I do that? Well, I had just gone to visit the allergy clinic and get a shot. Dr. Zuniga was his name in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. Why would I remember that? I just do. How about that? Well, anyway, I mention that because, I don't remember it all. I just remember what's important. I can follow a trail of what I believe to be important. So when I talk about the technological enslavement of humanity, and I've got documentaries exposing all that, there you go. I've got the goods on it. It's not crazy talk. Hey, I've got friends that call me. I talk to them for hours. And some of them have told me they got allergy shots too. And they were about my age. Oh, just so you know, I saw a comment go up, but I wasn't able to really read it good from the distance I am away from it. So what I'm going to do is thank all those that care and are praying and supporting me and appreciate what I'm doing. And I'm going to go back to the car situation. So, I'm in a car that's not really super economical, and it's not as reliable. I don't know how reliable it would be to get in the car and go across country now. I haven't tested that out for a while. I was at the Flat Earth International conferences where I went to Denver, Dallas, Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, and then me and this car have been viewed over 40 million times. Okay, so I don't actually need a car to be able to drive all over the place. Plus, could I drive to Australia or the United Kingdom where I've got subscribers, commenters, followers? No, I couldn't do that. However, digitally I can. That's one of the things. Digitally, I can travel worldwide. This is a mobile recording studio. And when it's parked, I get really good fuel economy. Okay, so I don't need to be driving around while I'm talking. I've got a nice place to go to, and that's what I'll do. And then the sun is approaching. The sunrise is like 6:45 today or so, and I've got beautiful videos out there on the beach. And as nice as that is, I wanted to have a bit more of a heart-to-heart talk and explain another thing to you. The people that have had their houses burned out, and all they have is the clothes on their back and painful memories of what happened, and they can't find their loved ones, they're in a really difficult position. Those of us that have prepared, let's say, for whatever's coming, whether it's a hurricane or a grid down situation or a zombie apocalypse, and we've got food, water, beans, and bullets and a way to protect ourselves somewhat. I wanted to mention that because some people are in a better position to help out. For those that have the billions and trillions of dollars, you can listen to Whitney Webb and hear about how our government in the United States has misappropriated or hidden trillions of dollars of missing money. Where's Larry Fink with BlackRock reaching out to help the the people that are not going to be given insurance, and what are they going to do with their lives? Could they use some help? Now, if some of the, like Jeffrey Ellison, that owns an island that is 9 miles away from where the burn victims are and were, he's worth billions of dollars. Some of these people are worth over $100 billion, apparently, like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and Jeffrey Bezos, and I don't know what Mackenzie now, Bezos, now Scott has. I've tweeted to them, all of them. Some of them I've direct messaged. If they really wanted to change their public relations persona, they could reach out with tangible relief. Not just to say, I'm sorry about your tragic circumstances, let me buy the land. No. How about if they put the money in their account and or give them practical relief like vehicles and a gift card from, well, let's say to build them a new home out of steel reinforced insulated concrete, that if you take in a Mediterranean climate like Hawaii, if you dig a hole in the ground where you can and have a nice big basement with insulated concrete and an insulated concrete roof, that baby's not going to catch on fire. That's one of the reasons why the wealthiest people's homes didn't burn up. They're built out of different stuff. They're built out of concrete. Well, if you have a extremely energy efficient, paid off home that's like a fortress, you don't have to have the mortgage. You don't have to have the insurance. And if you've got your own well that goes down into primary water, you've got unlimited water supply because the ocean water is filtered down into aquifers that are deep down primary water, so you can have unlimited clean, relatively clean drinking water, and then you can have reverse osmosis filters to filter that. And then there's very sophisticated zero-point energy harvesting systems, free energy, so you could have unlimited electricity without a bill. Well, my stomach is growling. I need more water. Anyway, what I'm saying with all that is that there's practical relief that can be given. Toyota could reach out and give everybody there a Prius, let's say, ultra low emission vehicle. I'm just not focused on Tesla only. Not at all. There's electric vehicle manufacturing companies that could give, they could say whatever vehicle you want. If you get a Tesla, you may want to, rather than a Tesla, you may want to have a Toyota electric vehicle. Apparently they're making them now. Or a hybrid electric vehicle. And then you can have an inverter on that electric vehicle that can charge up a battery system in your house. See, that's what I was going to use my Toyota Prius for, was charging my deep cycle batteries very economically. And I could have done it. I've got all kinds of ideas of what could be done. About 18 years ago, when I was recovering from my near fatal suicide attempt while I was on pharmaceuticals and pharmaceutical management of bipolar, the problem I had was I was eating junk food and spiritually deader than a hammer, and didn't know it. Anyway, while I was recovering from that, I extrapolated from my awareness of what Tesla was doing with their first electric vehicle, and that could be made into a semi, and you could actually have regenerative braking on the semi-trailer and the tractor with a large battery underneath the opportunity space, of the bed of the trailer, in front of the trailer tires and behind the tractor tires. They could perpetually harvest energy and propel the vehicle. You might not need to charge up very much, as well as there's 0 point generators, meaning you can harvest electricity from the ether that's all around us, or small thorium reactors. There's technology to perpetually power electric vehicles. By the way, I'm going to mention a few other inventors. I mentioned Nikola Tesla. I've got a lot of him in my research library. There is also Troy Reed that made a magnet motor that had on a car that had a little 12-volt battery and a big electric motor and controller that once he got it going with that 12 volt, he could perpetually drive that vehicle. Where is that now? They killed him and suppressed the technology. That's an easy way to silence it. They consider it a matter of national security, put it on a black shelf so it can't be implemented unless they want to, and when. Okay, so every house could have a Troy Reed style generator or a free energy generator. You can see the Pierce Arrow thumbnail. It's a Pierce Arrow electric vehicle that Nikola Tesla had, and he was using clay and zinc plates and an antenna on the vehicle to perpetually charge the batteries and then drive the car around without having to charge it up at a stationary location. How about that? How about Stanley Meyer, the water car guy? Do you know of him? He was, I believe, a born-again brother in Christ, born of the Holy Spirit. He was exposing the New World Order and how we could run the economy with water, how water could be used in its molecularly dissociated form of oxygen and hydrogen to heat houses, to propel vehicles, to cut steel, melt rock, and clean up the world. I know about it. Do you? Do the world elite know about it? Absolutely, because they're suppressing it. They hid it. That's what they did with it. So what am I doing with it? I'm exposing that fact. I'm going to grab my water jug. I'll be back. Could you hear that diesel truck? Can actually add HHO, hydroxygen, that's hydrogen and oxygen, or Brown's gas as it's also known, to clean that diesel up and get a lot better fuel economy. How about that? Could do it for Caterpillar bulldozers, could do that for other earth movers, trains that are diesel electric. Did you know a train is diesel electric? Well, it could be fully electric. How about that? All the wheels could be used to regenerate electricity and then have a large, like a megapack, like the megapack battery that harvests brake energy. I think that'd be cool. Braking energy. See, there's the water. It fills the container perfectly. And then in the case of our bodies, healthy hydration with a little sea salt in it, in me, helps it to operate the molecular machines that are apparently in the body to clean and oxygenate the cellular structure, transfer oxygen from the atmosphere to our body. What is it? Liquid oxygen and hydrogen. And then I've got the contaminants filtered out of it. All my water in my house is filtered with massive carbon filters, and then after that, it's a whole house carbon filter, dual carbon filter, 20 inches. Well, they're big. They do quite a bit. And then reverse osmosis to drink, and I wash my clothes in the, because I wear a similar outfit most of the time, the microfiber uh, mesh black shirt with a lanyard on it. And I can wash it in the bathtub, and I can wring it out. See, if I try and wring out a shirt that's labeled with truth on it, one of the problems is it messes up the vinyl printing on it, and that's expensive. And these shirts, they're not making them anymore. At least not where I was getting them. And because of that large logo from the YouTube, it's very hot, and the rest of the shirt is black, so that's hot too. This is very cool, even though it's dark colored. If I'm in the shade, it's very comfortable, and the pier provides shade, so I'll do that. Okay. So these individuals that have been parasites on humanity with the world's central banking system creating money out of thin air. Wow. Imagine if they decided to. What if Xi Jinping would say, you know, the emperor of China or the president of China, and Vladimir Putin were to say, we want to help your people out? Would that happen? I don't believe we were helping out China when their dams were breaking and people were getting flooded away. How about that? We've got a war-based economy worldwide where people are tricked into hating other populations and trying to protect themselves by exterminating the threat. So why were we in Vietnam? What was that all about? What was World War I and what were World War I and II in Korea all about, really? What was the Iraqi freedom and the Operation Desert Storm and Desert Fox all about? And what really happened on 9/11, and who were the actual conspirators, and what were all the details really? Well, there was a lot of deception around all of what I just mentioned. The world governments and politicians lie. Do politicians lie? Why, yes. If their lips are moving, they're lying. And not only that, their lives are a contradiction. They've got personal interests that they're engorging themselves with to compromise their integrity to accomplish not just what they want, it's what those that are operating them like a marionette, like a puppet. They're puppets. How many puppets are there? There's a lot of them. And then there are those well-meaning people baking cookies and helping do nice things for people that may be deceived. When I say helping cookies, like you could have a Girl Scout mother, a Cub Scout leader, Boy Scout leader. It's gotten weird over the years, but I was a Boy Scout and learned how to do a lot of things from the book that showed things that we could build and all of that. I learned a lot with that. I had a lot of hands-on experience. My dad was an inventor, as I am as well. I've had ideas that have turned into products and processes that have made corporations millions and millions of dollars, like the flow-through coffee bag idea of 1982. Did you see those then? A flow-through coffee bag, like a tea bag, only with coffee in it. And where that came from was me living in a little house, having instant coffee, and thinking when I would go to work, the instant coffee didn't taste very good, Folgers Crystals, and then I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have high quality coffee in a bag like that? Yeah, I had an itch in my ear. It's like what'll happen with that is like a little bit of dead skin, and a stainless key works really good to get that out of there, or water. Anyway, there's that. Another thing is this is real practical as well. So we used to have scoopable cat litter, and what I found out is the dust that comes off of that will cling to like a leather coat that was nearby because of temperature differentials and the thermal mass of the leather, and it would sweat a little bit, and then this dust from the scoopable cat litter would cling onto it, and it would turn into like concrete. Well, how about our lungs? When that dust is breathed in, and what happens when that gets in our lungs or our cat's lungs? Very unhealthy. So, what I remember is when we had a pellet burning stove in Wisconsin, they also recommended using it as a bedding for cats, horses, and small animals. So it's very healthy. It absorbs and neutralizes the urine smell and the poop smell. It's very clean to work with. I throw away the wet sawdust, and then I could, in a situation where it was hard to get more of it, I could put the wet sawdust, when it goes from the pelletized version and the urine soaks up in there, it breaks it down, and then if it's put out in the fresh air and sunshine on the driveway, it could be reused again. So a couple years ago I experimented with that. It worked wonderfully. So the odor goes away, and it still can neutralize odor, and it worked just fine. Okay, so what I did do was I found out that Petco was charging $17 a bag for a 40-pound bag. I could get it from Tractor Supply Company for about $5 a bag. And they had a horse on the bag with no mention of small animals or cats benefiting from that as well. Small animals like rodents and snakes and lizards and all that, it works for all of them. But there's a lot of cat litter that is sold in a year. Well, and it's unhealthy cat litter. Turns into concrete in the lungs of the person and the cat. Reduces the oxygen exchange. It's not healthy, that's what I'm saying. Well, I reached out to Tractor Supply Company, and I told them all about it. I said, I'm buying your pellets and using them for my cats and saving a lot of money. You may want to change the packaging on your product and encourage the use of it for small animals, cats and other small animals, guinea pigs and things like that. Well, they did it. How did that happen? Where did that come from? Well, I kind of MacGyvered it. MacGyver is the guy who would innovate and create on the fly. Some of his things were a bit hard to believe. They may have actually worked or may not. In this case, a major corporation, Tractor Supply Company, we've got one now right down the road from us, like a mile away as the wind blows from where I live. I used to have to drive 45 minutes to get that. I would come home with hundreds of pounds of it. Well, here's where it's also interesting. Well, anyway, I talked to the people there at Tractor Supply Company, went through a few hoops to get to talk to people that apparently ended up changing their packaging. Did I get a spiff or a commission on any of that? No. Did Folgers contact me and thank me for the flow through coffee bag? No. Did my dad get an early retirement for creating the first mulching mower back in the early 70s that he and I worked on, welding the discharge chute shut and sharpening the blade all the way? No, he just did it for free. He sold steel to the military industrial complex and little job shops and in that worked with him, and Kimberly Clark and race car companies and all of that. Caterpillar Tractor wanted to hire my dad, but he didn't want a cat um, because my dad sold specialty steel that these corporations would end up using, cutting it with plasma cutters, water torches, and water cutting plates, and all of that. Anyway, I learned a lot from my dad. I paid attention, and I would ask why, and he would tell me why. And then I would say, well, why is that? It wasn't like I was just saying why. Like, no, I was a young boy, and he would give me an answer, and I would say, well, why is that? Why did they do it that way? Well, now I've found out why is more complicated because we're in a battle for the souls of humanity for all of eternity. And there are benevolent entities and malevolent, good and evil people, apparently. So, how about that? So, right now I've got 3 cats and I use about $5 worth of pine pellets a week. What I wanted to say too is I've got this litter box that has slots underneath and an area to capture sawdust that I can. Hey, Andy, my friend out there going surfing now. Um, so the broken down sawdust goes through the slots in this Tidy Cat, I believe, made it, and it's a very innovative litter box, and it's very effective. And I empty it often. And what I'll do is I'll take the pine pellets that are still in good shape, and I'll sweep them forward and scoop up the wet sawdust and throw it in a container. I could put it on the lawn. I could put it on a garden, and it would be nourishing and all that. I'm not doing that right now. I could if I wanted to. Anyway, then I scrape that ahead and put the broken down pine sawdust in an area that the cats like to pee on. They walk in and pee on that area and back, and I'll scoop out that really soaking wet sawdust and throw it away. So what I'm saying is it's way more efficient than just having a box with pellets in it, because I'm able to economize. I'm getting about 3 times the use out of it as if I were to do it inefficiently. So, like, let's fast forward to the vehicles this vehicle that I'm driving. It's using way more gas than it would need to do what I want. I learned from how I drove the Prius. You may think it's odd to go from economizing from cat pellets to fuel economy on a car. Well, the way that it works is life is kind of like a mathematical equation. There's an input, there's an activity, and then there's the balance is what we can save. So if we can save energy on an economical vehicle or an economical envelope of a house, like a steel reinforced concrete home that would require in Hawaii or in South Carolina almost no climate control outside of just the thermal mass of the energy the heat coming up through the basement. What I was waving away was a mosquito. I'm going to close my door a little bit. Apparently they can modify the mosquitoes to sterilize the mosquitoes. I believe Bill Gates has been modifying vectors, including mosquitoes, to sterilize the mosquitoes and perhaps the people that get bit too. I don't know about that. Sounds a little far out there, but could be. Why would he be so concerned about helping mosquitoes? They're flying injectors, is what they are. How about that? Anyway, on the vehicle here, being how economical is it? Well, like I mentioned earlier, there are people watching from all over the world. Let me show you what this looks like out here now. I may transfer to my tripod and take us outside. So it was dark driving in, and let's see how this looks. What's the truth about that? Looks pretty nice. There goes Andy. Let me zoom in on him. Andy's from the UK. There he goes. Looks pretty good. Looks like we've got an offshore breeze. Yep, I'm gonna go out there. Whoops. Let me zoom back out. Yeah, I'm gonna take us out there. That'll be great. So what I'm gonna need to do is transfer to my, let's see. I'm gonna need to transfer this onto my tripod without losing the broadcast. So one of the advantages of having a live stream is that there's a better, oh, how would I say I can do this and then it'll be up if it makes if the censorship allows it, then it'll stay up. Okay, there we go. Now, interestingly enough, this is going to be upside down for a little bit until I flip it in the tripod, in the holder. So does that look odd? Does that orientation look odd? Does it make any sense that we would have upside down people in relationship to us? Well, of course not. Let me put this in here. I want to make sure it's locked in my tripod good, which it is. Okay, the upside down world. Keep in mind those promoting the globe, they like it because it's their screensaver and their world works with believing that lie. Well, I'm not buying it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how it is. There's up and down, not upside down. Huh. Some people don't like that. On some of the videos promoting the heliocentric or globe lie, I've been just dropping in there and calling them globe-tards. Oh man, that pisses them off. Well, good. Come on over to my channel, take a look if my comment has even been seen, and see if you can prove we actually live on a spinning, wobbling, gyrating globe hurling through the universe. That's a lie. It's not happening, y'all. Anyway, I'm going to just leave that here and grab my chair. I'll be right back. All right, now, so vehicles that have climate control like this have what's called an atmospheric water generator. It's that puddle of water that'll come out from the air conditioner underneath the vehicle. And I've got an alternator in there that'll charge this deep cycle battery. I've got several of them that I can run my freezers with, but it's a very inefficient way of charging that battery. Well, the battery, or I should say the Troy Reed vehicle, has a big electric motor in it and a battery even smaller than that. And when it gets going, he can drive the car. He could run climate control at the same time, and it's like free energy, free drinking water, and perpetual driving machine. Now, this vehicle could be retrofitted so it actually runs on HHO, the Stanley Meyer technology, but it's a pretty heavy, older car, so that just wouldn't be real practical. Let me I'm gonna put that hood down. I'll be right back. So like terrible Ted Turner. Yeah, we got too many people using too much stuff. Need to depopulate. That's what they talk about. Oh well. We could run cars on water or magnet motors. We could grow our own food. We could get primary water from the ground. We could get water out of the atmosphere. An atmospheric water generator, transporter, and all that. But see, they don't want all that. They want fewer people cluttering up their world. Oh well, I'm telling on them. That's what I'll do. Bastards. Pretty upset what they're doing to humanity, what they're doing to this world. And yet, there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. And unless they are born of the Spirit, they're going to spend an eternity in hell. That's what they get. That's what Satan's children get. Now, I don't know who's who exactly, so we could have an upsetting of the cradle of power, like the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars talks about. If the truth about what's really going on would become public, and they realize that like just giving people polluting, if the truth were known, they would not be so popular. Okay, so we've got suppressed technology, and I'm exposing the fact that they're suppressing it. Technology that would allow clean living. We've got plenty of room in this world. That's not the problem. They want to reduce the population, and I'm exposing that. Imagine these old trucks running on, rather than diesel or gasoline, running on the water, the Stanley Meyer technology, the retrofit system. They viewed his technology as a matter of national security and then silenced him by killing him. There's one of my stickers. How about that? So this is the Cherry Grove Fishing Pier area in front of the Prince Resort. North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. How about that? What a beautiful day. Not much wind out here today. Let me, I'm going to try and adjust this a little bit. Now, depending on who sees this information, I would say, well, I'll put it like this. I would say much of humanity is unaware of what I'm talking about here. They don't know that they don't know. And I'm trying to help them realize it. There was a young man that came up to me a few days ago. He said, "You've got a YouTube channel?" I just had my, actually I didn't even have my shirt on, I just had this lanyard. And I said, "Yeah, I do." And I gave him a card. He called me yesterday. It was so nice to hear from him. I recognized his voice. I said, "Are you the young man that came up to me at the Prince and I gave a card to?" He said, "Yeah." He wanted to know why I do videos at the beach. I said, well, people like to see the beach. They come from all over to visit here. My dad sold steel to companies like, I believe John Deere might have been one of his accounts too. And he would work with companies that would make a rake like that to rake things up. I've worked on prototype equipment, which furthered my experience with working with steel and also being able to fashion things out of steel and all that. With welders and chop saws and things like that. They're working on the pier yet. Looking forward to having that completed. Looks like Andy is getting ready to try and get on one of the waves here. Here, let me just set that down. I've got high-powered, zoomed-in videography and photography out here as well, of heavy equipment and surfers and people and pelicans and all of that. So if you've asked me a question that I didn't get to, you can give me a call on my phone or send me a link if you like. See how Andy disappears because of perspective and water in the way? That's just how that works. He didn't go well, he didn't disappear. He's there. It just couldn't see him. Ooh, there's the sun. Ta-da! Look at that. So especially, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this on over, grab a chair. And then the tripod will hold it for me pretty nice. So because there's a firmament up above us, we're in a contained environment. A biosphere, they call it. So some people will say, well, what's under the earth then? And all that. I don't know. Is hell in the inside of the earth? Perhaps. I don't know exactly. And people have all kinds of questions, and they may be ridiculous questions. Show me the flat map. All that. Well, I'd say you got bigger issues going on. I talked about it earlier in the broadcast. It's the worldwide genocide that I'm more concerned with. If you believe you're spinning, wobbling, gyrating with upside down and sideways people, standing up, walking, surfing, going to the bathroom, and they're upside down on a toilet, with them sitting on the toilet and the water staying inside the toilet, like in Australia, in relationship to us, well, we're supposedly spinning, wobbling, and gyrating into contradictory movements that can't be felt. It would just mean that you're deceived. It's like the dashboard light on your situational awareness. So, I'm exposing that. It's not that the shape of the earth directly is, it's important in the way that it clues people in that the Bible, the biblical cosmology is accurate, and NASA's cosmology is a lie. And then the atheists will point to NASA being so smart and giving us so many false representations of our reality. So I'm exposing all that now with help from my friends as well, friends and family all over the world that will help me do that by sending me videos. So apparently there's over 500 hours of videos uploaded every minute. A human being can't look at that and evaluate all of that. It's an overwhelming amount of information. Look at all the people with their handheld computer devices, their phones, their mobile computers that we carry with us. I'm using one right now. I'm not anti-technology. I use it for good, to expose the truth about everything. See, they're doing a selfie right there. Isn't that nice? So people reflect off of the water. They reflect on their lives, past, present, future, hopes, dreams, fears. I want to give you an acronym. Fear, false evidence appearing real. So we've got very sophisticated mind control technology to make people afraid, and then they present themselves as the protectors, as the creators of the answer. I don't like their answer. Exterminating humanity is not a good answer. Reducing the population by poisoning and perverting and corrupting, it's not an answer I believe is good for the people or the machine learning computers. So I'm wanting to help reprogram the, how would I say, the lack of empathy apparently out of the system, out of the AI. So yeah, that's me spitting whatever was trapped in the mucus that I wanted to not swallow. I can do that in the car while I'm driving in a little glass. On the beach, it's not a problem. So that view right there, that little tidal pool, that's pretty flat. See the mirror that is? See the man in the mirror? So when I looked at the man in the mirror, I didn't measure up. I was spreading Jesus all over what I was doing, and I was spiritually deader than a hammer and didn't know it. How about that? Wow, that's pretty. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you about all this is you had an opportunity to go from dark to light. Some people may scroll through and see how long my video is and what I've talked about. I've got a friend here grabbing his surfboard. Think he's going to go out there? Absolutely. So he's going to walk through the light beam there. And then as the sun moves up towards us, I believe it's relatively traveling over the level stationary plane, the stationary level plane. And based on our observation, it's going to appear to be over us or up higher. But we'll see him in the view. Yeah, it's very nice. So you're not actually, what you're seeing is a digital transmission of this. It's pretty accurate. I'll watch it afterwards, see if I misspoke about anything. And then I enjoy watching the beauty of it and then pondering what I maybe would have liked to have said. I can add it to another video. One of the reasons why I do this too is that as I make a video or do a live stream, there may be people curious. What's going on here right now? What does this look like right now? So it's different than a pre-recording, of course. Looks like a mom and a daughter there. So we've got shadows and reflections. That's part of the mechanism of what this is. Sometimes I get absolutely overwhelmed knowing the pain that's going on in this world with the loss of children, pets, babies. Because of the crimes against humanity. Let me zoom out a little bit like that. It's okay to be sad and cry over sad things. I see it all around me. What may appear to be a happy situation, it can be very happy and beautiful. A mom, a dad, a son, a daughter. And yet what happens is I also know of the tremendous pain that's happening in this world because of the crimes against humanity. So if you should be so fortunate to come across my research library and take a look at it, just really wanting to know, and you may have recommendations for me as well. When I say it, oh, that's so adorable. They made a heart with their hands. I can't look at that. So I see him. I've got a grandson that's about 7 months old now, almost 8 months. He was born in February, okay? And he's in Wisconsin, my family's in Wisconsin, and unfortunately they've made choices that are not healthy for him. Oh, he decided to go on the other side, not through the view. If I would have seen that happening sooner, I would have backed up. So now I'm more on stealth mode, because if I've got a big setup here, people might want to walk around it. If I have it down low here in front of me, people may just walk on by. And then you get to see them in the sea level liquid mirror. I'm at sea level right now. How beautiful is that? Here, let me zoom in on that. If you want to put your name and phone number here on a comment, you can. You might want to connect with other people. That's okay. I don't mind. For anybody that wants to do that. And then I would recommend considering writing down important numbers on paper, because our digital assistants can be wiped out, lost, damaged. And then how can you call people that you don't remember their number? They may be really important to you, those numbers. Here's our one-wheeler again. Yeah, I'm gonna move my setup a little bit here. So a lot of times I've done it, made choices that I regret based on what I believe to be true, and I was wrong. I've been wrong before. I may be wrong about something now. If I am, I'm unaware of it. And that's where humility, I believe humility is really important. In fact, even the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars talks about humility, how important it is. I believe that's true. So when I'm presented new information that contradicts what I've previously believed to be true, I want to know, well, what's the truth about that? Is it accurate or not? What's the truth about that? Contradictory perspectives can't be correct necessarily. They may all be wrong if the truth is outside of that field of choices. Behind door number 1, 2, or the truth about it all. Let's make a deal. How about that? Remember that show? Let's make a deal. How about this? How about if I'm able to trade in my rags for his riches? How about that deal? That's a good deal. Yeah, that's what happened. He made me an offer I couldn't refuse. It was the best deal going. So let me just pan on around, show you what this looks like. There they go. They had their photo op. Beautiful time on the beach. So I kind of mix it up where I am, what I'm doing. When I'm done here with this live stream this morning, I'll head on home, have a later breakfast. I've given my body plenty of time to process the food that I ate yesterday. And then I'll process information, my research library on the computers and all of that. Then go for a motorcycle ride. That should be nice. So one of the things, the waves aren't really big, but they're pretty nice. One of the lesser known realities, or thought of, they'll look at people surfing and watching them ride the wave. Well, a really important part of this whole equation is paddling out there. What's that like? Right now there's not much big happening, but it will be. Bigger waves. So I leave the chat on and I can scroll through it later and probably will. There we've got another surfer coming out here. Over there actually. See her? Matt Walsh did a video, What is a Woman? It's in my playlist. You can see it. He wrote a book about it. Woman is an adult female. Boom. There you go. That'll do. And the tricksters, the deceivers, are really good at changing the plumbing and padding and hormones and all that. Oh well. They're lying? I ain't buying. Let's zoom in a little bit more. And then I'll pan on out here. Imagine paddling out in that. That's pretty easy. I've paddled out with like 7 and 8 foot faces on the waves. That's pretty challenging. It's relentless. Imagine the people in Maui, Lahaina area that were out in the water, treading water for over 5 hours. You can hear a video of how people drowned out there. There were bodies, lots of them, floating in the water. Over 5 hours without being rescued when they were right there. Why? Why is that? Why did that happen? Where were the rescuers? I couldn't do it. I didn't even know it was happening, and obviously I'm like thousands of miles away, a world away. I'm not trying to be ridiculous. I'm just stating an obvious fact. There were people that could have made a difference there. Why didn't they? Did they know what they were a part of? Some maybe did. Some maybe not so much. Okay, now I'm going to show you a jet flying. Sometimes they're modifying the weather with that. And there are jets flying all over the world, leaving toxic chemicals. There, now no trail. Did he shut it off? Is it just a different humidity? Can you see him? Let's see, am I zoomed in all the way? I think so. Oh, here's a little bit better. There he is with no jet trail. They can put it in the fuel. They can spray the chemicals in the atmosphere. And are they harvesting energy from the atmosphere to propel jets? Could be. General Electric makes some jet turbines. Is that movement in electrically charged particles driving the whole system? Could be. The ratio of what they claim the volumetric storage on a jet doesn't add up when you look at the size of tankers and what's supposed to go in the wings. When I first heard it, I thought it's crazy. Now watch the rise and fall of the paddleboarder. Because of the waves moving up and down. It's just the reality of it. I've got a friend that calls people I can say it myself, reality deniers. They just can't see it. They're denying the reality of what's really going on. Here he goes. Andrew from the UK. I see him out here often. Yeah, they do have great balance. For me, it's been kind of tough to do some of that. I've been able to stand up and ride some waves. I used to race professional level motocross. And I've raced jet skis and personal watercraft and snowmobiles. I'm more familiar with an engine and something to hold on to, like with my hands, that can maneuver what's underneath me. And then with the motorcycle and personal watercraft, having my legs to be able to tilt it and all that. I've gone high rates of speed over the water with performance racing jet skis as well. See the liquid mirror that is? Of course you do. So we'll have dads and daughters and moms and dads and grandparents raising their grandchildren and all of that. There's all kinds of blending that's going on because of life circumstances. Painful life circumstances, I might add. So sometimes the depth of the pain helps us to find the answer because of the sincerity of the quest to find the answer. What's really going on? Where did the surfers go? Oh, there they are. And I'm about, or I should say the camera is about 3 feet off of the sand. I've been out here and I've asked Siri what's my elevation, and there were hundreds of feet different. The elevation above sea level or below sea level, either way. We've got texture above and below sea level here and all over this world. Shark teeth in the mountains and in the deserts. How about that? We had a great flood. Covered the face of this stationary earth where the firmament opened up, the windows of heaven. Well, that's really unpopular for people that want to do their own thing, and they're thinking they're going to find pleasure in their own, out of their own pursuit of a direct pursuit of pleasure, rather than obeying the Creator. Oh well. So in the sovereignty of God, where He predetermines who His children are, at some point in this experience, His children will recognize their need to be born again, and then whether or not that's happened for them, He's gonna help that to be obvious, axiomatic, self-evident. Yeah, so does it matter? Does any of it matter? Of course it does. The truth matters for eternity. Yeah, sure does. So one of the things that I talk about, and have for years, is I'm not just exposing the problems. I'm primarily focused on the answer, and that would be, let's see, what will we do with that? I believe everybody needs to get their house in order, or have it in order, keep it in order, stick with the battle of exposing the truth and walking in the truth. Our integrity is indicated by what we do when, well, I would say when no one's watching. The Almighty is watching, A lot of cameras are watching, perhaps. Does Google know all of our keystrokes, or the AI? How accurate is it at modeling us? It's okay. Look at him go. I have highly zoomed in views of the birds with the P900 and P1000 out at the nature preserve, and out here too. Eagles and pelicans. In my photo album on Facebook, you can follow me on Facebook if you want to. I've got a photo album showing people, pelicans, and planes flying through the Trade Center tower without collapsing the nose cone. What's up with that? How does that work? You can see it if you want. It's impossible, actually. I took a photo out of a video. I've had videos recently. Well, most days videos are getting removed from my research library because of censorship. So there will come a time, maybe, when what I'm talking about, these proofs that I'm providing, truth with proof, well, the proof may be removed. Oh well, I've done the best I can to leverage this technology to make it available. And I'm not responsible for the results. I'm primarily responsible for the obedience. I'm compelled to want to obey. So rather than a pursuit of pleasure, I have a pursuit of obedience, and then the satisfaction that the Almighty provides me is priceless. So I have direction with protection. Well, that bird is going after fish. He was able to run pretty quick. I've seen the tortugas, big turtles out here too. She's trying to teach that puppy to not be afraid of the water. How's he doing? So, situational awareness, what's going on? What's going on around us? And what's the truth about this battle that we're in? Can the outcome be changed by our activity? Yeah, I believe so. However, maybe that outcome has been predetermined and we've been, well, I'll speak for myself. It may be your case. I don't know who you are watching this. I've been energized, empowered, protected, and directed by the Almighty, and that's why I'll do this. It's counterintuitive. People have paid for obedience with their lives. And then what is it actually? A graduation to the next level where we don't have the pain and suffering? That's what I'm looking forward to. And then there's going to be the new heaven and the new earth. That'll be awesome. Looking forward to it. This has been really painful. Part of how I got here, my mom said 30 years ago, before she died, obviously, if the cancer doesn't get you, the treatment will. I found out that the system, the world that we live in, with greed and control motivated individuals, poison the population and then finish off the job with treatments that kill and enslave the rest of humanity. Oh yeah, don't talk about those crazy conspiracy theories at work. They might fire you. They might let you go. Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, so one of the things that I talk about, I guess I don't need to keep saying that, I can just say it. Having a card like this that I give out to people, or I can put them in places, or stickers in strategic places, I can have an impact. You could even make cards or stickers like that and put them around if you want. I can handle it. People can go to my channel and or give me a call if they want. Here's the other thing though. For those that want to add videos to a playlist that they share, that's another way of doing it. In this symphony of faith, we all have a role to play. What is that? Well, and that's our challenge and the joy in the journey to find that out. I believe I'm living it, my purpose. Great, we'll see Andy as a silhouette. Had some nice rides, Andy.
This is how I like it, like this. Before the hurricane, when it's nice and calm, but you've got some power coming through.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so you're in my live stream. You can see it later if you want.
Excellent.
Yeah, I got some of your rides looking good out there, man. Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah, it's good fun. You'll get out there on the border before.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm working on my muscle memory. It's working a lot better. Oh yeah, definitely.
Paddleboarder out there?
Yes. It's a lady paddleboarder. She came out right from out here.
A lady?
A lady, yep.
She's probably feeling it now because she's coming back because it's fighting the wind.
Oh yeah. I think we should get a little bit. Yeah, we should have a bit of a swell coming in too, right?
Yeah, it starts now. It'll be good tomorrow morning. So
bigger waves tomorrow.
Yeah.
What through the storms coming through? What do you think the biggest we'll see? Maybe 3 to 7, maybe.
Probably, I'm going to say somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be hitting the bottom of the pier.
Yeah.
High tide.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
I'll be paddling out for it. It's a real job to paddle out when it's big like that, isn't it?
I usually paddle out. I usually go right down here. Well, actually, current's going to be coming this way, going to be heading north.
Uh-huh.
So it might be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, sometimes it's easier to paddle out there and then cut over, right?
Yeah.
That's what I've done. I'll eyeball it a little bit.
Usually if it's just coming straight, I'll go down there, come out and just amble up this way a little bit. Or when the current's going to be the big factor on this one because it's flipping up the coast.
Oh yeah.
I know what it is.
Good morning.
How you doing? Good morning.
Great. Hey, I got you in the video. You got some nice rides in. Hey, you're welcome. So, Andy, do you and you as well? Do you time your paddling out with the sets, or do you just paddle out as soon?
I'm starting to learn to count everything and stuff. Yeah. I miss some of the sets coming in. It's
Yeah, when
it's called patience.
Oh yeah.
If you're not patient, well, the thing is, I've got to be back at home in a minute.
Yeah.
So I've got literally an hour and a half from 6 o'clock to get in the water and get done, and it's patience is a big factor.
Oh yeah. Great to see you. Uh-huh. Thank you. So, for example, so I lost my stream briefly. Looks like I'm back. So the short version can be like this. If for example I meet somebody at the gas station and they're obviously on their way, and I say, here's a card to my YouTube channel. If you Google my name, guaranteed to blow your mind. And then having this on like that, I can, have it on, take it off, whichever. That all works out. And I encourage, so a lot of people, I believe, like I did, and I know this because I've talked to a lot of people. We got here because of a recommended video, and we took a look at it, and we had this awakening to the reality of the world we live in. How about that? How is that? Let's see how. So I lost the broadcast again. It's kind of interesting what's going on with that. So that waking up process, what does that look like? It can be really painful to realize the painful reality that's going on, and what can we do about it? So, for example, we can have preparations in place, and I would say the most important preparation is to make sure that we're actually equipped for the battle, protected and directed by the Holy Spirit. And you can have your hair nice and coiffed if you want to, that's fine. I can do that. A lot of times I'll cut my hair early in the morning. I get up plenty early to give me plenty of time to obey the speed limit and all that. I'm not trying to be a nuisance to people. Just wanting to give people an information to help make an educated choice on their eternity. So, where will we spend forever and why? Largely it's determining who we are, what our purpose is, what's actually going on here. So if any of the benevolent billionaires would want to give me a call, that'd be cool. Could do that. You want to help your public relations campaign? Meet the needs of the hurting. And so like if a group of guys were to bring a truck full of stuff there to an area that's having trouble like Hawaii, well, depending on what the stuff is, they might arrest them. Let's say they were to bring them weapons so they could protect themselves. That probably wouldn't go over very good. However, if Elon Musk wanted to give away Starlinks and Teslas and help rebuild homes for people, give them a well to pump water out of the ground, free energy devices, or unlimited free supercharging and solar panels if that's what they wanted to do, and excavators to dig basements and have insulated concrete homes to be able to handle wildfires and hurricanes, and then a concrete fence around developments, so perhaps if there's a lava flow, it could go around them. And then people there, and there's pain and suffering all over the world. If they really wanted to have a great reset, well, make it better. Make the world a better place. There's all kinds of people with ideas on how to make it better. What could we do to help the people that are suffering? There's all kinds of ideas and ways of doing that. The eerie silence of the people that could make a difference is, I say, disturbing and telling. They're telling on themselves by not doing what they actually could do to fix it. And I don't just mean on this one event. I mean on these events that are happening all over the world. Unprecedented flooding, unprecedented storms. There's weather modification technology and seismic weapons and mind control weapons and silent weapons for quiet wars. There's a war against humanity, a battle between good and evil, and I'm exposing all of it. There's not a political solution to a spiritual problem. However, there can be an alleviation of some of the pain and suffering by people doing the right thing. It would be nice if they did it for the right reason. That may or may not happen. I'm not in charge of any of that. What people do or why they do it, it's out of my control. So one of the reasons to do that, I just wanted to get up and go for a walk into the ocean, and then the other was to just comment on something. We can have a posture that is one of, well, shoulders back, chin up, and not being afraid, not being a victim. Who are we? I'm a child of the King, the Creator, and I'm so grateful for that. You may know him as Yeshua, Yahweh, the living Word, the living water, the great I Am, the Great Spirit, the Alpha and Omega, knowing the end from the beginning. I listen to the Bible day and night, meditate on Scripture day and night. It's not out of a legalistic manner. It's because I'm hearing the Word of God and then comparing what I see around this world to that. And it's one of the ways that I deal with all the pain and suffering. I'm looking forward to the new heaven and the new earth, and I'm fulfilling and living out my purpose. I can't think of a better thing to do with life. So one of the passages that resonated through my mind as a child growing up was etched or painted on the outside of a silo on Highway 47 in Wisconsin, outside of Appleton, right near Highway 41 and 47 in the Appleton area. And what it said was the words of Jesus Christ: "What will it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul?" What a thought of substance and significance. What if you get all the stuff, the popularity, the trinkets, the toys, the real estate, the vehicles, the factories, the recognition, the control? What if you get all that and then find out that you were really wrong about the most important question? Where will you spend forever and why? So this isn't a sales pitch to try and convince billionaires to purchase their salvation. That's already, the purchasing and the determination has already been done. If you have an inkling or a desire to want to help your fellow man and obey God, primarily to obey God, the Most High, well, if you have that desire, it's a supernatural desire, perhaps, motivated by Him. I want to just, it's electronic activation, but one of the things to consider is it's not just only modifying the weather. This technology is modifying the people's perspective and maybe their genetics. What can actually happen with it? That's a good question. What are its limits? Hey, good morning. Good to see y'all. Hi. Hi there. How wonderful. They're pretty well dogged up. I have a good friend that lost his home and pets and more in a fire. How tragic. How tragic. And then there are people that have lost friends and family through war. And now that war has actually been waging locally in our world, in our lives. in that war, right in the choosing of what we'll do, what we will do or not do. So being prepared for that battle is really important. Being equipped for that battle. You could listen to Ephesians. Have nothing to do with the deeds of darkness, but expose them. Talking also about the weapons of our war and the protection, the spiritual protection. So I want to thank you all for your public and private encouragement. Let me finish this up. Let's see what's my end screen. Yeah, thank you so much for your public and private encouragement. Hey, I want to share something that I didn't really touch on quite so well. We're actually like a solar panel. We've got our body picks up energy from the sun. My research library includes earthing or grounding, talking about that. As well as having appropriate electrolytes in our physiology to supply hydration to our cellular structure, as well as supplying the oxygen and cleansing our blood. The other thing is that earthing or grounding actually helps blood flow, circulation. And if somebody says, you know, like yesterday I talked about problem, reaction, solution. Oh, what's the problem? I got a headache. Are you low on aspirin or a painkiller, or are you dehydrated? Are you getting enough healthy nutrients and water? Because that can be a problem. That could actually be the problem, is a lack of proper nutrition and or hydration, a lack of sunshine. I get plenty of sunshine out here. And then what I put about 1/3 of a cup of coconut oil on my skin this morning. It absorbs into the body and hydrates me that way as well. It's a healthy fat. Coconut oil is one of the healthiest cooking oils, solutions. Oh, here she comes. She's paddling in. I might even know her. Alrighty. So there's a symphony of life out here as well. Couples holding hands, widows, widowers, singles. Like I say, hopes, fears, hopes, dreams, fears, regrets, all of that. All right. Thank you so much. This is Robert Forsch with The Truth About Everything. Let me flip this around, give you an end screen there. If you think I've got something wrong or missed something, you could call or text me anytime. If you just want to talk, you could do that too. Thank you so much.